I told her that I may not need a mic. I have a really big voice, but I'll try to control myself because I have a mic. So how many of you love to network?
Yeah.
Great. What do you love about it?
Meeting great people.
Meeting great people. The new people. How many people kind of don't like to network? Thank you for being honest. Okay, what happens to you? What comes up?
I get tongue-tied.
You get tongue-tied?
Go to the bar, get a drink.
Somebody, yeah. Okay. So what are the big things that happen when we think about networking? What are the negatives that come up? What?
We get sold to.
You get sold to. Yeah, and that's what Mark was saying. What else? You get tongue-tied, you get sold to. Nobody follows up. That's a big one. Following up, I know there are people writing books about that. It's so very important. Follow up. But the thing is, does anybody have a goal when they start going networking?
Yes.
Yeah, what's your goal? What kind of goals do you set?
To better my business and to get acquainted with somebody wonderful.
To better her business and to get acquainted with somebody wonderful. I love that. Yeah.
Meet people that have great products and services.
Meet people that have great products and services. I love that because this is the holistic Chamber of Commerce, right? So a lot of what people are doing is what I love to share with people who are doing networking, which is about giving, not taking. So many times we go to a networking event to see how many cards we can give out, right? How many people have been at those networking events? Right, how many cards can we give out? I literally had somebody at a networking event come up to me, and I was talking to somebody else, and they just handed me a card and walked away. You know, am I going to call that person? I don't think so. You know? So networking is an exchange. Networking is giving. Another thing that comes up with for people, and when I coach a lot of one-on-one clients, is they think that it is bragging to talk about yourself. Anybody ever have that issue come up? Yeah. I mean, if you didn't raise your hand, you're probably not being completely honest. But so it takes a lot to talk powerfully about yourself, and that's what I'm here to talk to you tonight, about how you can speak powerfully about yourself, and that is then your duty. So what it is like, it is not bragging. I'd like to reframe that and let you think about it as sharing. Some people have talked and mentioned that. It is a sharing of the information. And guess what? If you do not share your valuable information with other people, they lose. So by sharing or bragging, you are actually doing that person a service because now they know how great you are. They know where to come from. They know how to recommend you. So those are some of the really important aspects that you want to think about when you're talking about your business. And when you're not bragging about your business, you are doing a disservice to the person that you're talking to because they don't get to know you. They don't get to know how great you are. So I'm here today to tell you how great you are. I'm here to give you tools to be able to communicate and share that greatness. And I want to start off by saying that for me to be here is utterly ridiculous because guess what my nickname growing up was?
Don't make it to the event.
My nickname literally was Shy for about 12 years of my life. To the point where people would address me. My mother would introduce me as Shy. Christmas cards were signed Shy, S-H-A-I, because I was so painfully shy. And I can still be shy when the spirit does not move me not to be. But what I've learned from that experience is how important it is to give and to share. My book is on the table. I have a new book called Standing Ovation Presentations. And what my assistant may be handing out shortly is I've come up with 9 different communication styles. So one of the really important things of being able to communicate powerfully is to know who it is that you are and what it is that you bring to the table. And I call it express to impress. And my actor types are 9 different types that you will see on television and in movies. And they all have a quality. If you think about your favorite actor, they have a quality that is usually consistent from script film to film. You, as networkers and business people, we need to be consistent from event to event. We need to represent so that if you are a hero, that's one of my actor types, a hero, those are the people that when you go into a movie, you know who the hero is because the music stops and then they walk out and something happens. And you're the hero because you can do a lot of things and you have a lot of responsibility and you're a wonderful human being. However, every actor type and every communication style does have its weaknesses. And in the film genre, we call them the fatal flaws. The fatal flaws of that weakness. So when you have a hero actor type, and I'm assuming everybody, a lot of people will assume, well, doesn't everybody have to be a hero? Aren't you all supposed to be heroes? No. Everybody is not a hero. If you look at some of the movies, some of the most memorable people are the ones who are not the stars of the movies. They are not the hero. So you don't have to be a hero to be a successful communicator, to be a successful business person. So you got the hero, but what happens to a hero who has no vulnerability? That hero then is not likable. I was a scriptwriter for years as well. I was an actor. I had a 30-year professional acting career. I've had about a 10-year writing for soap operas and for film. And one of the things that when you're writing for film, you have to find the fatal flaw of your hero character or else nobody's going to pay attention. What happens when we are hero communicators, you need to be vulnerable as well, because when you're not vulnerable, people do not take you seriously. And they do not like you. You lose your charisma. So if you are the hero actor type, if you're 100% hero, be honest, be authentic, make that eye contact face to face. All of that stuff is really important. Another hero type, another actor type that I have is the buddy. If you think of Seth Rogen, you think of those movies and and the buddy, I'm guessing there are a lot of buddies here because entrepreneurs like to be, are often buddies. Holistic individuals are often buddies because we want to be your friend. We want to be nice. We want to like you. We want to help you. And those are great, great qualities. Well, what happens when you have a buddy entrepreneur? What happens to the buddy in the movies? You know, the bad guy walks over them, the girls dump them. You know, because you're giving and giving and giving, and what happens is you don't take. You don't ask for what you want. You don't stand there and say, I deserve this. So a buddy skill is a great skill to have, but there are some times when you need to bring out that hero, and sometimes you need to bring out what I call the superhero. Because a superhero is a whole different actor type. The superhero is that person that walks into a room and says, I know the problem, I'm going to go fix it. I'm going to go fix it right now, and there's a lot of problems. Oh, there's a fire, I'm going to put that out, I'm going to put this on. You know, that's the superhero. Those are great people, entrepreneurs can really be superheroes, but again, superheroes have a fatal flaw. Superheroes' fatal flaw is sometimes they'll go into a building, they'll tear it down because they think it's a fire, it was just that somebody was smoking a cigarette. You know, it's like, so what you really have to do if you're a superhero, you have to really see, is this an issue? Is this a problem? Do I need to tackle this? But back to my buddies, sometimes when you're asking for business, you got to put on that superhero suit. You have to put on that cape and then ask for business. I have other actor types. You have the villain, which yes, villains can be really great communicators. If I look at Mark back there, I am almost 100% sure that as a communicator and as a presenter, he can rock that villain. And how do you rock a villain type? Villain's extremely charismatic. Again, when I was talking about, remember that Batman movie with Heath Ledger? Who couldn't take your eyes off of Heath Ledger? He stole the movie because he had charisma, but it was a different kind of charisma. It was that charisma, it's like, ooh, I want to like him, but it's, ooh. You know, that kind of really exciting. It gets people excited. But of course, it can scare the pants off of people also. So villains, when they have that as a primary actor type, they need to know how to tone it down when they need to, and they need to know how to crack a joke or give some warmth to their presentation, their communication. So those are some of the major actor types. We've got the whiz kid, we've got the ingenue, we've got, who am I missing, sir? The comic, and we've got the sex symbol. You know, the supermodel sex symbol, that's all about looks. You know, a lot of those. No one is one actor type solely. Some people have a lot of propensity towards one, but we're usually all a combination of one. And Sarah has the cards with all 9 of them on them. In my book, I go into deep detail. On my website, there is a quiz that you can take to find out which your strongest actor type is. But the goal of my whole actor type system and all of that typing system, when I have slides, the last slide is Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep can do everything. And in that slide, there is a picture of her as a man, her as, you know, the Vogue, what's her name? I'm blanking on her name. Yeah, Devil Wears Prada. Her as like, in the man, she was like a Jewish rabbi. Then she was like the girl, the sex symbol. And she can do all of that. And what she has to do is when the system calls for it, when the situation calls for it, when the script calls for it, okay, I'm going to pull this out of my toolbox and I'm going to do this. That's what we as communicators need to do. You have your actor type. And if you see Meryl Streep on award shows or talk shows, she's a buddy. She's a pure buddy, probably 100%. But she knows how to dip into some other type and become something else. And that's what being a star communicator is. It is to take your actor type and rock it. Really learn to wow with it. And if that actor type isn't working for you anymore, because that happens. We grow up, I grew up as a shy person. So my actor type probably at that point was an ingenue. Some of my coaching clients, I have to look at them and say, look, I had to whisper to this woman once and I said, you've come really far as an ingenue, but it's not working for you anymore. You have got to get rid of it. And so many times that's what we need to do. And sometimes it takes coaching, sometimes it takes inner confidence to say, okay, I'm going to change. I'm going to bring out my superhero. So how do we do that? We can do that physically. We can do that internally. When I talk about preparing for a networking event, I think preparations will start before you leave the house. You need to have your goals. Yes, it's great to share, to find these people, but who are you going to be when you show up? How are you going to show up? How are you going to wow? I give people exercises. If you have a list of, and this is also my book, a list of positive adjectives that you can give yourself, and I know you all know about affirmations. Do affirmations before you leave the house. This is my goal. This is what I'm bringing, so I can fill myself up with this positive, affirming self. Then you're not bragging anymore. Then you're sharing. Also, what are you going to wear? I do a presentation with fashion stylists, and we coordinate all of this, but you need to also dress to impress, dress to express. You've heard the dress to impress, but what I believe in is dress to express who it is that you are. So if you are a colorful, dynamic person, and I tell this story because I go into corporate America a lot to give training and all of this stuff, and I used to wear suits. And I used to wear these suits, and I would go in, and then I would like have my loud voice, and I would do my gesturing. It's like, that doesn't match. You know, I can't sell myself as this uptight corporate person when who I am is this dynamic, alive, touchy-feely person. You know, so that's what I had to start doing. Is like when I dress now, I have to show some of that color. I will always be in color because that's who I am. I will always have something bold because that's who I am. That's how I show up. So that's one of the things you want to think about before you leave the house.